Now, how people make decisions. Principle 1. People face trade-offs. When people are grouped into societies, they face different kinds of trade-offs. The classic trade-off is between guns and butter. The more we spend on national defense to protect our shores from foreign aggressors, this is what we mean by guns, the less we can spend on consumer good to raise our standard of living at home. This is what we mean by butter. Also important in modern society is the trade-off between a clean environment and high level of income. Laws that require firms to reduce pollution raise the cost of producing goods and services. Because of the higher costs, these firms end up earning smaller profits, paying lower wages, charging higher prices, or some combination of these three elements. Thus, while pollution regulation give us the benefit of a cleaner environment and the improved health that comes with it, they have the cost of reducing the incomes of the firms, owners, workers, and customers. Another trade-off society faces is between efficiency and equity. Efficiency means that society is getting the most it can from its scarce resources. Equity means that the benefits of those resources are distributed fairly among society's members. In other words, efficiency refers to the size of the economic pie, and equity refers to how the pie is divided. Often, when government policies are being designed, these two goals conflict. The second principle is the cost of something is what you give up to get it. Because people faces trade-offs all the time, making decisions requires comparing the costs and benefits of the alternative courses of action. In many cases, however, the cost of some action is not as obvious as it might first appear. Consider the following example. The decision whether to go to the college, the benefits its intellectual environment, and a lifetime of better job opportunities, but what is the cost of it? To answer this question, you might be tempted to add up the money you spent on tuitions, books, room, and board. Yet this total does not truly represent what you gave up to spend a year in a college. The first problem with this answer is that it includes some things that are not really costs of going to college. Even if you quit school, you would need a place to sleep and food to eat, room and board, and costs of going to college only to the extent that they are more expensive at college than elsewhere. Indeed, the cost of room and board at your school may be less than the rent and food expenses that you will pay living on your own. In this case, the savings on room and board are benefits of going to college. The second problem with this calculation of costs is that it ignores the largest cost of going to college, your time. When you spend a year listening to lectures, reading textbooks, and writing papers, you cannot spend that time working at a job. For most students, the wages given up to attend the school are the largest single cost of their education. The opportunity cost is an important term. Opportunity cost of an item is what you gave up to get that item. When making any decision, such as whether to attend the college, should be aware of opportunity costs that accompany each possible action. In fact, they usually are college-age athletes who can earn millions if they drop out of school and play professional sports, are well aware that their opportunity cost of college is very high. It is not surprising that they often decide that their benefit is not worth the cost. The third principle is rational. People think at the margin. Decisions in life are rarely black and white, but usually involve shades of gray. When it's time for dinner, the decision you face is not between fasting or eating like an animal. But whether to take that extra spoonful of mashed potatoes. When exams roll around, your decision is not between blowing them off or studying 24 hours a day, but whether to spend an extra hour reviewing your notes instead of watching TV. Economists use the term marginal changes to describe small, incremental adjustment to an existing plan of action. Keep in mind that margin means edge. So marginal changes are adjustments around the edges of what you are doing now. In many situations, people make the best decision by thinking at the margin. Suppose, for instance, that you asked a friend for advice about how many years to stay in school. If he were to compare the lifestyle of a person with a PhD to that of a grade school dropout, you might complain that this comparison is not helpful for your decision. You have some education already and most likely are deciding whether to spend an extra year or two in school. To make this decision, you need to know the additional benefits that an extra year in school would offer: higher wages throughout life and the sheer joy of learning, and the additional cost that you would incur to tuitions and the foreign wages while you are in school. By comparing these marginal benefits and marginal costs, you can evaluate whether the extra year is worthwhile. The fourth principle is people respond to incentive. Because people make decisions by comparing costs and benefits, their behavior may change when the cost or benefit changes. That is, people respond to incentives when the price of an apple rises. For instance, people decide to eat more pears and fewer apples because the cost of buying an apple is higher. At the same time, people at the same time, Apple decide to hire more workers and harvest more apples because the benefits of selling an apple is also higher. As we will see, the effect of price on the behavior of buyers and sellers in a market, in this case the market of apples, is circular for understanding how the economy works.